What makes them similar is what makes them great. A collection of hockey legends, men who have changed the game and left a lasting legacy forever frozen in time, laid the groundwork for a younger generation of NHL stars to follow. They are the future. They are just like me.
Girls, it's hot game.
Kiss off another one for number 8.
Ovechkin. The Crosby in front, he scores!
He's intimidating, he's physical, he can fight. My type of player.
I'd say sick is the word I'd use. Look at the moves.
Malkin, sensational! Thomas Benning in overtime!
The Stalls come, and they're ready to play in this league immediately.
Welcome to the crossroads of NHL history. We've reached a point in time where a changing of the guard is unfolding before our very eyes. One generation of NHL icons has given way to a new wave of electrifying young stars. I'm Bill Clement, and we're at the NHL store powered by Reebok in the heart of Midtown Manhattan, where new styles sit right beside vintage looks. Prints from the past aren't only here on the rack, though. They become evident on the ice with today's rising stars, reflecting the signature traits of hockey's greatest generation. In Just Like Me, we'll examine the similitude between two eras of athletes, ties that bind 9 budding stars with the greatest players in history, how Dion Phaneuf's style rhymes with the predatory game Scott Stevens played, how Rick DiPietro is his generation's All-American answer to Mike Richter, and how Sidney Crosby could be the future Steve Yzerman. We begin, though, with a pair of Russian sharpshooters, and both are cut from the same electric tapestry.
When it came to pure goal scoring, which is something you can't teach a guy, I think that's something both of those two excelled at.
Ovechkin fires and scores! A chance for Bure, and scores!
Pavel was a tremendous goal scorer and an exciting player with great skills.
They called him a Russian rocket for a lot of reasons. When he got the puck on his stick, he was just dazzling. Just speed and sheer power, energy and explosion.
He seemed to not be on the ice. He seemed to be flying just above the ice, and he had that aura about him that it was more than just a job.
Here's Bure with some speed. Bure in alone. Deeks, save, scores!
Every time he got it, you knew he was dangerous, no matter where he was, from the half boards or blowing by you or breaking out of the zone, getting a pass for a breakaway. You always had to keep an eye on him.
Bure scores!
He wanted to score every time he touched the puck.
Pavel Bure is one of the guys I'm glad to see that isn't playing anymore. And it seemed like every time he got the puck, every time he got a shot on me, it went in.
While goaltenders no longer have to worry about the Russian rocket burning them anymore, another explosive puck magician, a wild-haired wild child, is on the rise. His name, Alexander Ovechkin.
Just the raw speed and power he has and just the talent-wise is just amazing.
Great look, Ovechkin fires and scores! A no-doubter!
He's one of those guys that comes down on you one-on-one and you actually are a little bit scared.
Don't get mad at me, Alex, but he's a freak.
Ovechkin trying to drag it through narrow. Scored!
There's just some people that they got it, and you can tell he does.
Just, when I come here first time, my goal was play how I can and just play it,
Alexander Ovechkin fires and scores! Alex Ovechkin rides again!
You see some highlights of him, and it's just unbelievable.
Kiss off another one for number 8.
He's kind of Pavel Bure. He's so fast, and he has a great shot. He's just, he's dangerous wherever he is on the ice.
I love the way he celebrates the goals. I think everybody should celebrate a goal like that. So it's not every game. Maybe for him it's every game thing. He scored a lot of goals.
You just don't know what he's going to do next, and that's what makes him so exciting.
Alexander Ovechkin with a splash dive.
When I win the game, when I score goals, I'm very happy, and my emotions go always.
I think it just shines through him is the joy for the game. I think it's an attitude that everybody should have. Not all of us handle pressure the same way. He brings that exuberance to the game, and it's something that you really strive for, to be that free on the ice.
It's not just the pure joy of the game, but how everything is physically expressed by them, because you can watch them and read their body language and see just how much they enjoy a rush, how much they enjoy scoring a goal especially, and how much they enjoy being on the ice. So that is one of the biggest comparisons between the two.
When Burry did something, the look on his face was, look what I just did. Can you believe what I just did?
That's what attracted him to the fans. I mean, it was like you watch a great performer, you watch Madonna in her prime on stage, Sinatra. He was the virtuoso in those early years.
Hard on his sleeve, the exuberant Ovechkin made a seismic splash just like a young Bure did. His electric, engaging, and fun-loving personality away from the rink also enabled Ovechkin to transcend the game, pushing his popularity to new heights.
He likes to joke around, so like you can see on TV.
Hello, I'd like to order some food. Free pizza, 2 meatloaf dinner, 6 large french fries, lots of ketchup.
Higher. You're almost there. Come on.
Sour cream, Canadian bacon. That's it.
I said left. Come on. You hear me? Left.
It was a great experience, I think, and it was fun when I said my boss what I have to do, like go left or go right, go straight, and it was fun.
My name? Sidney Crosby.
The tendency for European players when they first come over is to be a little standoffish and they don't know the culture, they don't know the language. And so Ovi just dove right in and wanted to be a part of everything. He wanted to room with the North American guys so he could learn the culture and the language right away.
Try to get out! You make me break down.
When you feel comfortable, when you go home, you go to the couch, you drink a beer, watch a movie, your wife around you, you feel comfortable, right? So I feel comfortable when I go to the locker room. I do my skates, my stick, and I go to the practice, and I enjoy it,
Oh, does everybody know what Black Sailor is?
This is 2 minutes. This 2 minutes. I break my stick. It's no good. Broken. You see? Done. For charity.
Everything I've seen in interviews and things like that, he seems like a great person, a great kid, very funny. And you know what? That's what this league needs more of, is guys that are genuinely interesting to talk to and to meet, and for people that may not know hockey very well to learn about.
Girls, it's hot game. Ooh.
Not every new NHL star basks in the glare of the spotlight. When Jari Kurri came to the NHL as a trailblazing Finnish forward in 1980, he crossed the Atlantic at a time when only 3% of NHL players were native Europeans. But this sweet-shooting sniper inspired a whole generation of European greats to follow in his footsteps. 25 years later, Thomas Vanek is writing a similar story. 30% of the league is now European, but Vanek is the first star to come shooting out of Austria. He probably won't be the last.
Vanek brings, obviously, goal scoring.
Vanek fires and scores! Deadeye!
You just think of a lot of creativity.
He scored some goals that belong in the highlight reel.
To Vanek, he scores! Thomas Vanek!
How did a guy from Austria, a country not known as a hockey power, turn into one of the NHL's lethal weapons?
My dad grew up in Czech and played professional hockey in Czech and Austria, and so ever since I guess I could walk, I was at the rink and started skating at a young age, and I was just always around hockey, and the appeal to the game was, much greater to me than soccer, tennis, or skiing, or the other big sports in Austria.
Vanek at the line, walks in, he scores! First NHL goal for Thomas Vanek.
Remember that moment. I'm sure there will be many more in the red light district for that Austrian.
There's not too many players that come out of Austria, if not any. He's that one guy that everyone looks to.
Thomas is a big reason. Seeing a lot of Austrian kids playing college hockey is something you wouldn't see 5 or 10 years ago, and they're being drafted higher. He's been a great ambassador to that country.
He scores! Thomas Vanek with brilliance.
I don't know how big I am over there. I guess every year the media is getting bigger and bigger, but for me it's just great being from there.
That's just a superior play by Thomas Vanek.
Hopefully with my impact here, more and more kids will start playing hockey and then get a chance over here to play in the National Hockey League.
Curry showed that same pioneering legacy back home in Finland when he crossed the Atlantic in 1980.
At one time, nobody expected a Finn to succeed in the league. So when you get somebody like a Jari Kurri, and he comes over and he's not only good, he's extraordinary. I mean, Jari Kurri, if Gretzky wasn't on his team, they'd be talking about Kurri as one of the, ultimate players. That's how good he was, really, in so many ways.
For Jari, it was always, European players, they really don't want to win Stanley Cups. And how tough are European players? Can they play in Boston? Can they play in Philadelphia? And he always had that thing to prove to people.
And you talk about being something big in Finland, and Jari Kurri for paving the way.
I think it was very important that we had some Finnish player who had so much success here in North America, and I think Jari gave so much more hope, and we started to believe that if we work hard, we might have a chance to play here.
In addition to inspiring legions of young players to pick up the game in their native countries, Kurri and Vanek are also linked by their ability to score goals in bunches.
Goal scorers have the knack of appearing and reappearing without anybody noticing.
Thomas Vanek, top shelf, where Mama hides the cookies.
Kurri shoots and completes the hat trick.
Wayne will be the first to say that Jari was a big part of his success. I mean, you needed a guy that could play at Wayne's level in terms of thinking the game offensively and to be able to trade the puck with Wayne.
Gretzky, the Jari Kurri, back to Gretzky, to Kurri scores! What a goal!
He was one of the true, real, gifted goal scorer that I have seen play over the last many, many years.
A problem? Yeah, for most humans, not for Jari Kurri.
You can't always score from the outside, and sooner or later, you have to have the courage to go into the areas there that are not very pleasant on a number of occasions, and he didn't have a problem going there when the game was on the line in order to score a goal.
Swings to the side of the net. Jari Kurri. The Oilers win it at 6:50 of overtime.
Thomas Vanek in overtime.
Comparing him to Jari Kurri, he's, he loves to get open, can make some tremendous plays.
Thing of beauty for Vanek.
Every night he kind of brings something to the table and you shake your head.
Look at Vanek, boy. He can make the puck talk. He's got great hands and a great shot.
He's definitely one of the best that I've seen right around the crease. 99% of the guys in the league wouldn't try the things he does.
Moves in, shoots, scores! And Thomas Vanek makes them pay.
He's a force out there.
Despite skating in different eras, the two helped alter the NHL landscape. Vanek's journey has mirrored the path Kurri forged over 20 years before.
I don't think there's a reason why you couldn't compare him to a Hall of Famer like that. And, he's still a young kid. He's going to get better every year, and it's going to be exciting.
I mean, obviously, anytime you get compared to, someone like Jari Kurri, it's positive. If you look back at his career, his stats and stuff are impressive. 5 Stanley Cup ring, you know, I mean, I would like to start with 1 and then, you know, chase him down someday.
Vanek is part of a young, talented core in Buffalo that will provide firepower for years to come. Although the team is known for their deep and dangerous attack, Ryan Miller's all-star ascent in goal is reminiscent of a legendary goaltender's development between the pipes years ago.
Ken Dryden is one of the most astonishing stories in sports history, let alone hockey. And I remember very vividly following the Canadiens in 70-71. Along comes this kid who went to Cornell, Ken Dryden. Kind of a walk-on. We figured he'd play a couple of games, go bye-bye, nice to know you, and that's the end of it. And the next thing you know...
And the game is over. The Montreal Canadiens have won the Stanley Cup for a record 16th time.
It was amazing because we didn't think he'd survive. We certainly never thought he'd thrive, and he not only thrived, he went on to championship greatness.
Dryden turned into a dominating force behind the Montreal Dynasty teams of the 1970s, leading the club to 6 Stanley Cups. In his 8-season NHL career, Dryden's fiery focus became his signature trait. In addition to going down as one of the game's all-time winners, Ken Dryden broke the mold of how goalies were viewed.
Ken was the epitome of smart goaltending, and I don't think that goaltending and smart were used in the same sentence for a long time. But Ken epitomized that. He used his concentration methods and his calm demeanor in changing and shaping the game of goaltending.
As I found out through the years, that the smartest guys on the team usually are the goaltenders, and Ryan Miller and Ken Dryden are 2 of the most cerebral goaltenders I think I've ever seen. Physically, they resemble each other, and they're both leggy. They both have very long legs. When they rest, Ken Dryden, who always looked about 7 foot tall in those pads and skates, would stand and he'd go like this and just sort of watch things and draw, you'd see he's concentrating. And Ryan Miller does a very similar motion.
In Miller's case, a pregame ritual serves as the quiet before the storm.
Well, it started as getting away from the guys in the locker room when I was in like midget hockey, where you dress in the small locker room and everybody's talking and maybe there's loud music going. The quietest place was out by the ice. Zamboni usually is just on or just got off the ice, and there's no one in the crowd yet, and so I just started going out there and just going through my head what I need to do to be a good goalie. It's part of my routine, it's part of who I am, and I'm just going to continue to do it.
Similar to Dryden, the bedrock of Miller's game lies in his preparation, intelligence, and supreme focus.
He brings a stiffness to him, he brings fire, he's a very determined young man when it comes to playing goal.
He's a guy that's really focused and on top of his game at all times. He wants to win every game, but you want to respond because you want to win for him.
How did that not go in? Miller makes a spectacular save! Misha Miller! What a save! He stole it away! Buffalo wins it in the shootout!
While Miller's resume is a work in progress and not nearly as decorated as Dryden's, he continues to develop a style with Dryden's fingerprints all over it, and not just on the ice. Like Dryden, who pursued a law degree, political career, and wrote books when he wasn't stopping pucks, Miller has many cultural interests away from the chaos of the crease.
Early in my pro career, I saw a commercial with Steven Tyler, and they had that cool new Sony camera. Ended up getting one, taking it home for the summer, and kind of when me and my buddies went out, have some fun, whatever we did, went up north, I'd pull out this camera, and they'd kind of, what's the deal with the camera, Ryan? Always taking these random pictures. But, you know, when it comes to the point where, you know, when they want to see them and then when they want copies of them, and it really highlights, you know, kind of what we were doing as a, you know, group of friends or my family, you know, it's fun to be able to look back on those situations. I got one good shot of the lake in Michigan, kind of a sunset, and it just hooked me. It's something real peaceful, real laid back. It's on my own time, you know, kind of like goaltending. I'm kind of get to do my own thing. You know, photography put me in an area where I can just kind of go be by myself for a while and just enjoy being outside and relax and take some of the pressure away. And, you know, definitely something I get more time to do in the summer, but, you know, during the year I try and sneak out too.
With the quiet confidence and unwavering focus with which he tends goal, Miller strives for spotless perfection, even in his leisurely pursuits.
I'd definitely like to make it a serious hobby. I don't know where it's going to go, but I have actually been trying to talk to some professionals or people in galleries and what they think of it, you know, critique it. But for now, hockey is the job, and photography is the release.
We move now from the quiet study halls of the intellectual puck stoppers to the tooth-rattling heavy metal collisions of our next pair. For 22 years, Scott Stevens built a Hall of Fame career that left a trail of destruction in his wake. Capable of single-handedly sparking momentum shifts with a well-timed shoulder or hip, Stevens struck fear into the hearts of his opponents. And believe me, everyone knew when Scott Stevens was on the ice. Just like today's forwards are keeping tabs on Dion Phaneuf, a true throwback defenseman with the same menacing qualities that made Stevens so effective.
Dion Phaneuf is a perfect example of you can still be a physical player in this league and excel.
He's exciting to watch, you know, and he loves that physical game. He never shies away from anything.
Phaneuf, maybe the hardest hitter in the league.
Dion Phaneuf is a fierce competitive player. He's a real warrior, plays the game very physically, and he's got really just tremendous offensive skill.
Across, Phaneuf shoots, he scores!
I like his game. He's intimidating, he's physical, he can fight and score. My type of player.
Very special to be compared to a guy that did so much for the game and had such a long and successful career.
Just like his predecessor, Dion Phaneuf can shatter his opponent's confidence with an arsenal of bone-rattling body checks.
That's the Scott Stevens dynamic that Dion Phaneuf can bring to a game. Try to cut back against the grain, and he's going to put you into never-never-land.
Dion definitely has that presence. Coming down the ice, you know, you don't want to come over the middle when you know he's on the ice because he's going to step up and make you pay for it. And Scott Stevens is probably the best we've ever seen at that.
You don't know you're going to get hit by these guys, but the chance always exists. So it's like a nuclear weapon when a country has it, you know? Like if we invade this country, they might use it because they've got it.
You control the offensive players to maybe take different routes and maybe not play the game they like to play against other teams and take the long way to the net instead of the shortcut.
More than a ferocious battering ram, Stevens was an offensive powerhouse, able to light the lamp as easily as he turned the lights out on his opponents.
I think the finesse side of Scotty's game is the most underrated thing. He was a great passer. He had a great shot. He put up some amazing numbers.
Not all of Stevens' attributes were found on the score sheet. His ability to lead, intimidate, and inspire made him a vital part of 3 Stanley Cup championships.
Everything he did was about the front of the jersey, and he cared very deeply about his team and his teammates.
How he led was, he gave it 110% in practice, just like he did in the game. There was no days off for him. He didn't say too much unless it had to be said, or he just stared, had that glare.
The only thing you have to do is look in his eyes, and he sends that message.
Far exceeding any singular aspect of his game was Scott's pure physical dominance.
Stevens not only changed games, but he changed entire series with hits.
In '95, we were heavy underdogs against the Red Wings in the Stanley Cup Finals, and in Game 2 when he crushed Kozlov there.
Scott Stevens, the body check of the playoffs. If you don't believe me, ask Kozlov.
Two Detroit guys were yapping, and Scott didn't yap too much. You know, when he pointed over, "You're next," I knew we weren't going to lose the series because I think on the bench we felt that, and everybody on Detroit kind of shut up after that.
The championship to New Jersey. The Devils win the Stanley Cup.
Scotty was a warrior. He's won cups and he's led teams, and you know, and Dion still has to show he can do that.
When I came into the league, I wanted to be known as an all-around defenseman, not just one-dimensional, and I think Dion's doing a very good job of becoming one of the best all-around defensemen in the game.
Nobody can tell me Phaneuf won't be as tough, as hard-hitting, or more than Stevens. We got to wait and see, but he's off to a terrific start.
As Phaneuf smashes his way to stardom, the man who coached him in junior hockey is back in the NHL. Brent Sutter was named head coach of the New Jersey Devils on July 13, 2007. The fourth brother from that royal hockey family to take the reins of an NHL club. And the latest chapter in an epic tale of 6 brothers that began in the rural outpost of Viking, Alberta over 50 years ago.
So here are these Sutter brothers growing up on a ranch, really, a farm in Alberta. And they went out and did chores every morning before they went to school. So that work ethic got instilled to them even before they got on the ice for the first time.
We competed against each other, and I think that really pushed us to get better. And you know, when you have that many boys in a family and you do a lot of things like that together, and it was just not in sports. When you're on the farm, we had chores to do, and you always wanted to do a little bit better, and your brother did it. And that was just pride, really, more than anything. And we had that competitiveness coming from the farm to there.
The bond between the brothers is amazing, even though they had to play against each other most of the time. In a few instances, they were teammates. Dwayne and Brent got to play together on the Islanders.
Every team in the NHL would like to have a Sutter in the lineup. The Islanders are fortunate in that they have 2 of them.
Those 2 years that I had the opportunity to play with Dwayne, cherish the ultimate goal of success in professional hockey is winning the Stanley Cup, and to share that with a brother is pretty outstanding. We all pushed each other to succeed in our own little way. It's funny, all through hockey, we were all captains of our team, and we've all been expected to lead in our own ways in any team we played for, and it just came natural to us. But we all got there because we all made a commitment to get there.
Left it for Sutter, the shot, he scores! Hawks win! Daryl Sutter does it again!
The Sutter boys come through here in the Stanley Cup final.
If there's one common denominator to all of them, is they were all tremendous workhorses. They were self-motivators, and that was a big part of the reason why they succeeded. It's just an amazing story.
Frankly, I don't think I ever expected to see another, a whole family come in and play in the league.
Mark Stahl at 19, brother of Carolina's Eric, brother of Pittsburgh's Jordan, and there's even another one coming up. How's that for a DNA powerhouse?
When I see the Stahls, I think great genes, and not the kind you wear.
Eric Stahl is really separating himself as a star in this league.
The Stahls come, and they're ready to play in this league, and they're ready to make an impact immediately.
Jordan Stahl, 18 years of age, making moves like that in this league.
When you watch the Stahl family, I mean, they all certainly have the talent, but they have that innate hockey sense, which is really difficult to find and certainly impossible to teach.
Steal by Stahl, he shoots and scores!
Me and Eric have similar style, I think. We're gritty in the corners, and we work for the puck, and we use our body and our reach. You know, we're both pretty smart players, I think.
Mark Stahl possesses the great hockey genes. He was born to play hockey, just as his brothers are outstanding players already. You see him as a natural.
The young Stahl, Jared, may be as good as any of them.
Stahl, and your name around the National Hockey League now, a family that many say resemble the Sutters.
Like the Sutters, the Stahl brothers were raised on a farm, a sod farm in Thunder Bay, Ontario, where they learned about hard work at an early age.
Just getting up at 7:30, and you know, depending on the job that we have to do, either lay sod or work in the field, and just long, strenuous hours. And it's a tough job, no question about it. And I think it kept us all pretty grounded on not wanting to end up like that.
Thanks to their dad Henry, all that farmland also afforded them the luxury of building a backyard rink to hone their skills.
Me and Mark against Eric and Jared.
He is pretty competitive, actually. We obviously wanted to win, and we didn't take it easy on each other, that's for sure. And Jordan and Mark, they lie when they say it, but me and Eric definitely took most of the games, that's for sure.
There's competitiveness in the family to be a little better than the next, and no different than ourselves. And it's unique to see this all transpire again in another family now.
While it's natural for them to be compared to the Sutters, the Stahl boys know they have much to accomplish before reaching the same stature.
To have, 7 brothers and 6 of them playing the NHL, that's pretty amazing. There's only 4 of us. It's a pretty steep comparison, but hopefully, one day we'll all be playing, and that'll be a pretty cool feat.
But clearly, the Stahls are making their presence felt, and not just at the rink.
We did that commercials together and stuff like that. It was a pretty good pillow fight that I won.
So who do you think won the pillow fight?
I did. We don't see each other on the ice too much. Last year, we had a face-off. It's pretty neat to see your brother cross the face-off top.
Hockey is a little different than most major sports when you see a number of family members playing on a professional level. It's unusual.
Growing up, we never really expected this to happen, and it's definitely exciting, I think, for all of us. And we're all really enjoying watching each other play and really pushing each other to be better. And me, Eric, and Mark, we all have to stay in the league and keep getting better, and hopefully we can be that next family.
All the Stahls seem to have that special little trait that makes them what they are, and that's good hockey players.
Stahl, this is a young man that you can build a franchise around.
The Stahl brothers, as well as the Sutters, are bound by blood. These next two are brothers of a different kind. Mike Richter and Rick DiPietro share a common bond in that they represent the past and the present of American goaltending. 2 New York puck stoppers from opposite ends of a bitter hockey rivalry. Rangers and Islanders have waged many memorable clashes just a couple of blocks away at Madison Square Garden. But one common thread between these archenemies is in goal, where 2 men from different generations traveled similar paths to prominence. In 1994, Richter led the Rangers to their first Stanley Cup in 54 years. While up in Boston, a young Rick DiPietro dreamed of following in his footsteps, and still does.
Goaltenders are really not exactly like normal players, left wings, right wings, centers, or defensemen. They're in their own category. That's why if you open up an NHL guide, you have the regular players, and then you have the goaltenders.
That was great.
Mike Richter was a unique personality.
Hey, those skulls were outside, right? Yep, okay. Absolutely.
He went to Columbia University, he used to ride the subways, he lived in west side of Manhattan.
Feet, go behind, keep. Okay. 18 years in the league, I don't have to tell him what to do.
DiPietro's an interesting guy.
Daddy, there's a fat guy in my crease.
I've never seen someone have so much life in him as Ricky does.
Say sick is the word I'd use. Look at the moves.
And DiPietro is the natural heir as an American goalie.
I got a chance to meet him when I was younger and would have liked to ask him some questions, but I was so nervous. I don't think I got any words out. But you watch, Mike play in the World Cup and in the Olympics. Now having got a chance to play in both of those and realize the competition you're up against and how successful he was, it just makes me idolize him that much more.
Oh, what a save by Mike Richter!
Tremendous competitor.
Mike Richter right now is standing about 9 feet tall for the New York Rangers.
When you play them, you know you were going to have to bear down if you were going to beat Mike Richter because he was a guy that certainly brought his game every night.
He was a guy that you could get inspired playing in front of.
Shot by Kuba, save, rebound knocked down, and another save by Richter. Puck still loose, second shoot, save by Richter. He made another one. 4 saves. River press up, save by Richter. York trying to stop play. Richter's got the puck. Standing ovation. Standing ovation for Mike Richter.
You strive to be as good a goaltender as he was.
Save by Richter. What a save by Mike Richter to stop Pavel Bure.
He's a legend in the game.
In the eyes of the American players, it's a big responsibility because Mike Richter did it so well. And, you know, Ricky's going to do a great job.
It's tough to live up to, but, you know, I'll continue to try.
Living up to expectations is something Rick has had to deal with since draft day 2000.
For the first time ever, a goaltender was the first pick in the National Hockey League draft. Boston University netminder Rick DiPietro.
You are their future. How does that feel?
Oh, it feels unbelievable. It's a lot of pressure, but something that I really be able to jump into and handle. And I think it'll be a great fit. Thank the Islanders for you know, putting that trust in me. It was a tough decision for them to make, and you know, every day I feel lucky that you know, I'm a part of this organization.
After signing a landmark 15-year contract in 2006, DiPietro is happy to be an Islander for life, even in the spotlight that comes with the territory.
He's very willing to be the lightning rod. And a lot of goalies kind of will back away from that and maybe not be outspoken or maybe not put out the impression that they're the guy. He wants to be the guy.
30, Marty, you got 30. Let's make something happen here.
Now, Rick DiPietro is a good case for why the NHL should change its rule and allow the C, as in captain, be on the goalie's jersey, because he's a natural leader.
The only time you take a slap shot, it's like you're coming off the wing, you know what I mean, in a deep. You learn early that guys will look to you if you're calm and confident. You know, if you're nervous, they can tell, and you know, that kind of filters down through everybody.
DiPietro's such a smart goaltender, really coming into his own right now.
You know, Ricky's a good goaltender, but then, you know, you become a guy's teammate and you know what he's all about, and Ricky's really committed to his trade. I mean, the guy's in amazing shape. He works hard every day, and you know, he is where he is for a reason.
Oh my goodness, what a glove save by Rick DiPietro.
DiPietro's going to be one of those guys who I think for the next 10 years is going to be a goaltender you pay to see.
Robbed by Rick DiPietro.
He definitely brings a winning attitude to the New York Islanders.
Rick DiPietro has personally stolen 2 points for the New York Islanders.
New York fans expect the best, and every time we go out, we try to do that. And I think the best part about our fans, they respect hard work, and if they can tell that you're out every night doing your hardest and giving everything you have to win, I mean, even if you lose, they'll respect that.
Pressure does not faze this young goalie. In fact, it seems he's having the time of his life.
Seriously, when was the last time you seen bowling like this, honestly?
Oh, yeah!
Eli, as an Islander fan, how did you feel the draft went today? Really, you weren't very happy about it, I see.
You should have come to the rink with a lot of excitement.
I wrote the song a long time ago, 94.
A lot of hard work, dedication. This is how I train in the summer, actually. Our wonderful owner, Charles, this will be our second time cooking together, won't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, unfortunately, he did beat me in our first annual meatball cook-off, but I think you had the judges stacked up in your favor.
Nah, just my wife. Oh, no, she voted for you.
I enjoy myself. We are playing a game, and you know, as much as you'd like to get mad on different occasions, and obviously I do, it's fun.
No.
Got that. Edit.
The one thing DiPietro wants is what Mike Richter achieved in 1994.
New York's a great place to win. I mean, that's why everyone likes to come here. I wouldn't even know how to describe it since we haven't won one yet, but you know, I got the next 14 years to try, and we're going to do whatever we can to.
Rick DiPietro is emerging right before our eyes.
He is now, DiPietro is to the Islanders what Mike Richter was to the Rangers, which is as high a compliment as you can give a guy.
In 2007, Ryan Getzlaf reached the pinnacle of his young career, helping the Ducks win the Stanley Cup in just his second year. Still just a 22-year-old kid, he also has a lighter side.
This guy's got 1,000 points in this league. Look at this. No, 1, 2.
He's a very easygoing kid, pretty loosey-goosey.
Am I allowed to take this thing? Hey, Marcos. How you doing, bud? I didn't have it. Sorry, buddy. I got your bike. What are you going to do? Chase me down?
He's a fun kid to be around, and he brings life in a room.
They let me take theirs.
Sure, go ahead.
That's a big hit. Look at Whoops.
There's a charisma to him that's unique.
That's good, though, bud. You don't want everything to be normal all the time, do you? What are you doing in here, you little brat?
But when it's time for business, he's businesslike.
Ryan Getzlaf has become a force.
Every team wants guys like that, guys that have some skill and good hands and that mean streak, you know, and that leadership ability, and certainly Ryan Getzlaf brings that.
Getzlaf is really coming into his own right now. He's going to be a superstar in this league for a long time.
There have been a lot of power forwards in the game. Mark Messier is probably the prime example of that. Getzlaf reminds you a lot of him really early in his career.
For 25 years, Mark Messier played with a double edge of skill and snarl, and an unbridled will to win that made him one of the great leaders in NHL history.
He had instant respect, and you don't teach that. You saw in those playoff series when the Oilers were dominant, winning the Cups in the early 80s. He was a guy that could beat you with his speed, or he could run over you.
He's just a mesmerizing guy. He's got that stare that can just cut through granite. Very intimidating.
Mark's the best power forward that ever played, no question about it.
Messier was a grinding, emotional force capable of dominating games, much like Getzlaf is doing now.
There's obviously similarities sometimes, and you can't ignore them. For me, Getzlaf is a young kid that has tremendous talent, plays in all situations in the game.
Getzlaf, a one-man wrecking crew here.
He's a real dominant, strong centerman. He demonstrated last year in the finals that he was that guy, that he could play in every situation that the game presented.
Getzlaf in the goal.
He's got real nice soft hands, you know, things that Mark used to do, put the puck between the defenseman's legs and get around you and snap a shot. And Getzlaf's got that demeanor about him, certainly.
And his toughness / meanness, he appears to have a bit of a mean side to him, which Mark possessed.
Opposing players are afraid to tick Mark Messier off for fear of what's going to happen. Getzlaf is going to be that type of a player.
Coming.
Oh, boy, what a hit by Getzlaf. This guy just leans into people and wham!
There's a certain amount of respect that you have to play hockey. And if it does give you a little bit of room out there, then so much the better. Then he's going to take you to task there if you're getting too close to him.
I don't know what I compare to him in the game. I mean, he had a great career, and I mean, just to be mentioned in the same sentence as him is an honor for me.
He does have some traits that Mark had at a young age. He's won a championship already. He knows how to win, and he's starting to become the player that he always projected that he might become.
Well, you're looking at a superstar in the future, Getzlaf.
While Getzlaf is establishing himself as a ferocious dynamo up front, Peter Forsberg was a different breed of power forward who relied on skill rather than a short fuse. Forsberg made his anticipated NHL debut during the 1994-95 season, giving Quebec and then the Colorado Avalanche a dominant 1-2 punch with Joe Sakic. Forsberg flourished, displaying an awe-inspiring synergy of power and grace in all three zones. 11 years later, another multi-talented young center named Evgeny Malkin began dancing through defenses and immediately drew comparisons to Forsberg for his multi-dimensional skill set. And just like Forsberg had Sakic as a running mate, Malkin has an elite partner by the name of Sidney Crosby, making up this generation's most dynamic duo.
Malkin's in a pretty good situation right now, actually, because Sid Crosby is his teammate. So a lot of the attention gets focused on Crosby, and Malkin, who skates on what's essentially a second line, although he'd be a first line center anywhere else. He can do his thing.
In front of Malkin, a shot, he scores! Evgeny Malkin!
Malkin! Sensational!
Here's Malkin shooting, he scores! Evgeny Malkin has done it, 6 goals in 6 games. The first player since 1917 to do that in the National Hockey League.
He felt after that first goal, he felt more and more confident. And the guys in the team helped him a lot. And they supported him. And he has the feeling that they help him to score. So that's how it happened.
Just like Malkin walked into an ideal situation riding shotgun to Sidney Crosby, Forsberg was the perfect complement to another established star.
I think Peter's talent wasn't heralded to the NHL players, but then he just took the game by storm. I think that the combination of him and Sakic in Colorado was maybe 2 of the best centers that ever played on the same team ever in the history of the National Hockey League.
I think Peter Forsberg always came to play, but he was always a notch above in the biggest games, and that, to me, is what always stood out with Forsberg.
Are you kidding me? Second the shot, deflected wide by Forsberg. He scores! A German trick! A German trick for Peter Forsberg!
Peter, obviously one of the best players in the league the last 15 years, a guy who really controlled the play when he was on the ice, and there's only a handful of guys in the league in any given era that really actually controlled the play when they were on the ice. Just this combination of skill, strength, determination, and just a little bit of meanness, or a lot of meanness actually, made him, one of the best players to play.
Forsberg's a physical terror right now. He's just punishing everybody near a puck.
Forsberg was a guy who, nicknamed Forsberg because big physical guy with all the skills in the world to go with it. And Malkin's very much the same way. He is a really big player. He will take hits. He won't be intimidated. He won't back down from anything. He'll initiate a lot. And Forsberg was that same way. I mean, you could hack and whack at Forsberg all night long, and he would still turn around and score the winning goal on you with 10 seconds left.
Cleared up onside. Looking into the middle. Drury couldn't get it. Save, score! Colorado wins the game! Peter Forsberg!
Malkin is so skilled that rather than carry somebody, he just puts a move on and go around them, which is also the case with Forsberg, who was skilled enough that he didn't have to deal with the physical play.
Are you kidding me? Forsberg is fantastic!
Another thing is they're both great in traffic and have played in traffic and succeeded. So I think they both could do it either with finesse or purely physical.
Ryan Malone to the front again. Crosby was tied up. Malkin! Sensational! Outstanding reach for Malkin to tie it at 4.
Malkin's adjustment to a new league was easier than his indoctrination to life away from the rink as he entered a new culture in a new world.
The only thing we could do is give him every sort of support we could off the ice to make it as easy as possible for him. I think he was very fortunate to have the Gonchar family to really lean on and live with, and they were great to him last year and certainly this year. But he's really, you can only do so much for a person at that point. They have to take the initiative to try to either learn the language or fit in more with their teammates, and he certainly, to his credit, has done that.
A lot of the guys are all over him for, trying to learn English and tell him no sleep and just watch TV all day.
We were probably a little bit mean a couple times. He probably taught him the wrong words, but he probably learned the wrong words first that he shouldn't have. But that's the way it works, and you know we all have laughs over that. And sometimes we'll be talking, and he'll be kind of stuck on a word, and he'll start speaking Russian to me. But I'm trying to explain to him it's not going to help. I don't know any Russian either.
Although Malkin may not have been fluent in the different languages his teammates spoke, that didn't prevent him from getting his first North American nickname.
The guys from the team started calling him Gino because it's easier for them to say Gino than Yevgeny. It's short and there is nothing harassing about it. But he's extremely grateful to all the coaches and to all the guys from the team who supported him, who helped him. And now he is able, thanks to all these people, he is now able to show his best hockey.
Nobody did more to further the comparisons between Wayne Gretzky and Sidney Crosby than the Great One, when he predicted the teenager would eventually break his many records. In his first 2 years in the NHL, Crosby lived up to every expectation, all while serving as the most recognizable ambassador the game's seen since Gretzky. But while the Gretzky comparisons have been evident, his play, personality, and leadership traits are reminiscent of his hockey idol, Steve Yzerman.
The first thing that struck you about Steve Yzerman was that he was just such a classy guy. He was truly one of the best leaders in the history of the National Hockey League.
To me, what separates Steve from everybody else was his mental toughness, his determination, his competitiveness, his passion.
One of the greatest captains in the history of all sports.
You knew that when you were facing Stevie Y that it was going to be a challenge, that he was determined, that he was going to make things happen out on the ice.
Like the steely-eyed Yzerman did throughout his career, Crosby plays with the same burning desire.
For Sidney Crosby, it was something that was very distinguishable at the very outset of coming to Pittsburgh. He just has this inner-driven self, probably at as high a level as I've ever seen in any young player ever that I've been around in all the years in professional hockey, to want to succeed.
Owning the same infectious passion that Yzerman possessed, Crosby was bestowed with one of the great honors in sports.
Sidney Crosby and Steve Yzerman became captains of their team at a very young age because they possessed something very, very special, and that is the understanding of their roles to their teams.
Talking to guys that played with Steve Yzerman, he didn't say much, but when he spoke, people listened, and I think that's the same thing with Sidney.
The captain of the team, his number one thing is what is best for the team in all situations. That's helping out a teammate. In some cases, it's taking a lesser role. In some cases, it's taking a greater role.
But actions speak louder than words. And in his first 2 seasons, Sidney Crosby's been a man of action.
Everybody talked like, you know, this is going to be the next guy and how good he is. And I'm like, you know, he can't be that good. He's just another hockey player. But I'll tell you one thing, he's in the top 2 best players I ever played against.
He's not only fun to watch, he's a blast to play against.
Down the wing to Crosby in front, he scores! Absolutely off the charts!
And just the sheer power in his stride and his ability to do things on his skates and maintain his balance.
It's just incredible the way he is dancing on his skates right now. He's got all his body moving in precision, and it's just like a finely tuned watch.
What shocks me most is, you know, how young he is and how good he is already. And that's scary to think because he's only going to get better.
I saw Bobby Orr change the game. I saw Wayne Gretzky change it. People, you know, kind of copied their styles. Paul Coffey, the way he could rush the puck, and Mario became the big, huge forward with the great skill. Sid is kind of a combination of everybody.
Before emerging as a shutdown defensive presence, Yzerman, like Crosby, was one of the NHL's most lethal scorers.
in his early years, one of the great goal scorers of the game, one of the great assist men of the game and point getters.
Into the Chicago zone. Yzerman winds up, drives the shot, and scored!
Down the middle. Yzerman shot.
Yzerman still controls, spins away. He's in. Oh, he's coming right in alone. Big shot. What a goal!
I remember a lot of the overtime goals. The one against St. Louis is a goal that I always remember.
Yzerman moving, blue line chance. Score! Steve Yzerman!
I think when everyone looks at players, you know, they look at their skill and their speed. But with him, it seemed like he did everything else on top of that, whether it was face-offs or blocking shots.
I really admire that he's a young guy who's learned that I want to be the best all-around player and not just the best scorer.
Crosby's got a little of everything in his game. Sid really seems determined right now.
Just as Yzerman was synonymous with Detroit, Crosby's style is symbolic of the Steel City.
It's funny how some athletes are just right for the cities they end up in. And I think Sid's right for Pittsburgh, just as Yzerman was right for Detroit. Those are two working-class towns. They've supported hockey a long time through a lot of lean years. I mean, before Yzerman, came along, Detroit was in pretty much of a drought in terms of playoffs and championships.
The Detroit Red Wings win the Stanley Cup. The cup is back in Hockey Town.
Crosby, the same thing. Penguins, bankruptcy looming, all kinds of problems. They might leave the city. Crosby comes in and revitalizes the team.
Stevie was captain of the Red Wings and led that team for 21 or so years, and Sidney Crosby is doing that right now. He's the modern day Stevie Yzerman.
Protects and sails it ahead, and here's Crosby on a breakaway. The game on his stick. Score! Sidney Crosby in overtime.
As far as being a part of the foundation of what Pittsburgh is all about, Sidney Crosby. You would love to say, man, can we have him for 20 years? And how many chances will we have to win a Stanley Cup with number 87 on the lineup?
They're really all just chips off the old block, aren't they? Take a look around, and the ghosts of hockey's past are everywhere. Throwbacks and vintage wear are in style here at the NHL store powered by Reebok, and they're also on display at an NHL rink near you. When the new generation of hockey heroes looks in the mirror, they see a reflection of yesterday's athletes. And when those former greats watch today's players in action, they can't help but see a great deal of themselves, too. In the stars of today, we see the legends of yesterday. Who are we going to see in the stars of tomorrow? I'm Bill Clement. Thank you for watching.
It's hockey first with them, and I think it's refreshing, and I think it's guys really want to be good players, and they really appear to be driven to me. They're good all-around hockey players, and they're playing to win.
Malkin to Stahl, walks in, Stahl shoots, and he scores! Jordan Stahl's first career hat trick wins it for the Penguins in overtime.
The National Hockey League's got a bright future. A lot of great stars really coming up in the game right now.
Well, I think the game is in really good shape there as far as a young wave of new players coming into the league right now. They've all started to establish themselves now. We're going on to 3 years for Crosby. Ovechkin, the same thing.
Ovechkin scores!
I think we're going to see an awful lot of this kid in the future.
I think there's lots of reason for the fans of the NHL to be more excited than ever before because of the skill level and the marquee players.
We say there'll never be another Gretzky. There'll never be another Bobby Orr. There'll never be another Messier. But there will be players who will come up and be those kind of players. And all of a sudden you'll start to realize you're talking about those guys in the same terms that you talk about the Hall of Famers.